Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, Masquerade Gundam Stormbringer Full Armor / Gym Turbulence. Now this is one of those kits where you have to basically choose among the two, so which is why if you look at the box, there's two names mentioned in the names. So obviously, as you can see, being a more of a gym guy, I decided to go with the Gym Turbulence. Now the overall build is the same. If you want to make the Stormbringer full armor, or FA, I'm pretty sure that FA means full armor. Either way, if you want to make that, all you need to do is swap off the head, and then when you're making the shoulders and backpack, you just need to make the the alternative version than the ones you see at the moment. Alright, so this review is going to be somewhat simple because this is my third gym dominance based kit out there, because obviously, as you can see, there's two of the previous ones I've built, and this one is pretty much the same structure. Of course, there are some design differences, which I will point out as well. But the overall build, the basic frame is exactly the same, which is why I'm not going to go over articulation. If you want to check the articulation, go check the gym dominance review as well. So despite saying this is a simple review, it may eat up a little bit of your time because there are a lot of leftover parts that we need to go through. So here we go. So as a start, let's go over components, or at least what you're supposed to get. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Gym Turbulence. Sorry about that, the Masquerade Gym Turbulence itself. And now instead of the previous blue and white or black and white color, we get a nice dark green color and a orange combination, just like the RX-78 Full Armor Gundam, the green one we know. So we got these, and we got a new backpack compared to the original Gym Dominance. Don't worry, I will be going over some comparisons with the previous versions as well. Now, I do not own the previous Masquerade Stormbringer, but this kit actually made me want to get one because of some of the leftover parts. So currently on the left hand, I gave it the fist hand, and then on the right arm, I definitely, like the previous two, I attached the double barrel beam cannon onto the right arm as well. And instead of having just one beam saber hilt on the sides like the Gym Dominances, the previous ones, we get a actual backpack to hold those two beam sabers. So that's that. And here are some stuff. So hand-wise, we get 8 set of hands in total, but since I'm using one each, so here's the other fist hand. Nothing too special there. And here's the other trigger finger for the left hand. If you want to attach the double barrel beam cannon onto the left arm, it is possible. You just need to swap. You just need to reattach it to the left arm. And here we have some fully open hands, left and right, nothing too special. And then here we have the hands holding the beam sabers. And then obviously we get 2 beam saber effect parts. I'm going to leave just one for now. Alright, and here we have the... there we go. Okay, here we have the water slide decal sheet. Nothing too special. We get all these symbols going on here. Now keep in mind, the Gym Turbulence, or the Stormbringer Full Armor, is not exactly from the Gundam universe. We know it's not from the Universal Century. This is actually a Build Divers kit. So keep that in mind. So we get all these symbols, and yeah. And here we have some stickers. Now it may look like a lot, but it's mostly because of the cameras, lenses, and stuff. And the only one I did not use is this white one, which goes onto the antenna. But it was a pretty easy color, area, so I decided just color it using a white Gundam marker. Alright, other than that, here we have some parts. So, as I mentioned, here is the head. You are able to make just the head. You are able to make the separate head of the Stormbringer. Yeah, definitely, I do like the design, but it's very basic looking, so yeah, I don't hate it, so which is why I guess I shouldn't have any big problem getting the previous Stormbringer as well. Definitely basic looking, pretty nice. I'm just going to leave this somewhere safe. And here we have the part where you can attach the beam saber effect part. So these goes onto the arm. But once again, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my Gym Dominance review. But if you attach the double barrel beam cannon onto the arm, you do need to take this part off. So keep that in mind. But you still have the one on the other arm. So which is why you can attach the beam saber in this way. Which is, I really love this format. Now, of course, I guess mobile suit wise, the only downside of this would be that it would take the energy from the mobile suit. While if you have a beam saber hilt itself, the beam saber hilt does not take energy from the mobile suit. It actually has its own beam charge beam battery inside of there, if I remember correctly. Alright, so we've seen the head, we've seen the leftover part from the other arm. Now here we have the backpack. Here we have the backpack for the Stormbringer in full armor. If you're thinking, oh, can I just swap the backpack? No, because we do get both backpack like basic frames, but some of the parts are shared. So obviously the cannon and this camera part and this green section is obviously a sticker. These are unique parts for the Stormbringer, and to move the cannon you have to pull it out and then start moving it up and down. And then push it back in to lock it into place, like that. So there are some parts that do share. For example, if you see these parts, the orange parts that you see in the backpack is pretty much shared. So you have to take off the main thrusters and then these orange parts. And then we have these parts, there's these two gray parts which are still being used on the Gym Turbulence. You have to cover up these parts. And then we have these two pegs, which is also supposed to be covered by these parts, so you can attach the gas canisters. So yeah, so you can't really have both at the same time. But of course, with this and if assuming that the backpack is if the previous Master Grade Stormbringer has exactly the same backpack as the Gym Turbulence, this might be actually pretty useful if I get that kit. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm gonna put this off the stand now because it starts to make me dizzy. And let's go over the buttload of leftover parts. There's going to be a lot, so I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to take each one out of the box. So number one, we have this N1, and I believe there should be an N2. So these parts are leftover parts, but technically they cannot be left. Depending on which one you build, these are pretty much the Stormbringer shoulder parts. So if you decide to make the Stormbringer, this is the parts that you use. But since I went with the Gym Turbulence, it uses the very Gym Sniper 2's shoulders, or basically pretty much the same shoulder parts as the Gym Dominance. So these are all those parts to make the shoulders for the Stormbringer full armor. If you're asking me why I didn't go with the Gundam, I'm more of, as I mentioned, I prefer mass production types, or I prefer visors, I prefer gyms in general, which is why, yeah, I prefer the Gym Turbulence. Alright, so here we have a H plate, which is pretty much from the, I believe this is from the Master Grade Gym 2.0. Yes, the frame does share some parts from the Gym 2.0, because the Gym Sniper 2 also uses parts from the Gym 2.0, and hence the Gym Dominance Master Grade being based on the Gym 2.0 part, and other various gym kits out there. We do see some parts here, but overall, yeah, here we have the original waist parts of the inner frame, but this thing does not use a core fighter, hence we use a different part here. Here we have the waist armor connectors, and here we have the action-based connector. Here we have another part from the inner frame. These are pretty much from the shield, or from the original Gym 2.0. This kit, unlike the previous two, previous Master Grade Gym Dominance does not come with a shield. So here we have all these parts for the shield. Okay, here we have another plate. This is the M2 plate, which is, I believe these parts are also meant for the Stormbringer FA or full armor shoulder parts. Nothing too special there. Let's go over some simple ones. Here we have some leftover polycaps. These round ones, they give you 6, but you only use 2. And then here we have these parts from the hand plate. Once again, these joints are only used in certain kits. Here we have an E2 plate. Here we have an E2 plate, which is the leftover part for the shoulder, not shoulder, this is for the knee part, and I believe this belongs to the Gym Sniper 2, yeah. And here we have the O plate, so I believe we use almost everything, but we have an extra neck joint going on here. You do get another one as well. And here we have these orange parts, which are actually meant for the Stormbringer full armor shoulder armor parts. So once again, making the Gym Turbulence, I did not use these. Now, if you're asking me at this point, can you also just make the Gundam Stormbringer full armor shoulder armor without, separately? And the answer is no, because they only give you or only provide you one set of the shoulder armor inner frame part. So you only get one inner frame part for the shoulder, hence you cannot actually build it because they use the same shoulder frame armor part. Here we have another E1 plate, which is from the Master Grade Gym Sniper 2. Here we have the knee inner frame. Here we have the back skirt inner frame. Here we have the neck cover as well. Now this one is just due to like the color separation. We get some extra parts here. So we have only a set of the gas canisters for the backpack. These parts look like the different color scheme for the different color parts for the shoulder for the Stormbringer. And then we have this part, which I believe is the knee part, but once again we have a different color. This is just a leftover due to the color separation aspect. And then here we have the A plate, which I believe this is also from the Gym Sniper 2. Here we have the original front skirt armor parts, back skirt parts, and all the other parts I cannot tell at this point. Yeah, these must be, okay, I remember. These parts are the parts for the beam saber holder parts on the back skirt as well. So we get some leftover parts here and there. And here we have another D1 part, but these ones are actually from the previous Master Grade Gym Dominance kit. These are obviously the chest vent parts, and then here we have the head part for the original color, or not original, but you get the idea. This is actually a part that goes onto the head. And then here we have an A1 plate. Yes, there's an A plate and an A1 plate. So when you're watching the manual, it may feel confusing, but just be aware that there is, you know, separate things. These parts are from the original Gym Dominance, as far as I can tell from this. Here we have the original backpack, almost all of it. And then here we have the front skirt, and then here we have the chest and back part. Here we have the head part, and all sorts of parts going on here. So good to see a few leftover parts, and always good to have spares. And here we have the C2 plate. Here we have the original chest armor parts, cockpit parts, and some itty bitty parts as well. And here we have a B plate, which is, I assume, yeah, this one's from the Gym Sniper 2. We have some feet parts, cockpit parts, and other parts for the main body. So nothing too special there. Oh boy, and I just dropped a piece. And here we have another knee armor part from the, I believe this is from, no, this is the original knee armor part for the Gym Dominance. And here we have a B1 plate, which I believe this is the original waist section. Here we have the antenna sections right over here, and the neck sections. And here we have another plate, which is the C plate, these are the original front skirt parts for the Gym Sniper 2, if I remember correctly. And finally, the last plate, the F plate, which is from the Gym Sniper 2 as well. And here we have some leftover inner frame parts as well, and a specific trigger finger, which I assume this was one for the Gym Sniper 2's unique sniper rifle. Alright, so that was a lot of leftover parts, but we went over them. So I pretty much explained what leftover parts are there. So at this point, you shouldn't be asking what's the leftover parts, what can you make with the leftover parts. That's up to you. That's not my job to tell you guys. Alright, so before we go, I think it's now time for a proper comparison. Now, the Philip Hughes version is pretty much identical as the first Gym Dominance, but with the extra Gatling backpack. So I don't think it's really necessary for me to review 2 times with this. So I'm going to take this out of the scene for now. Alright, but I'd like to mention, it's been like a year since these guys were out, and they are still standing very great. Even the Philip Hughes version, despite having that heavy backpack or back equipment, it still stands pretty well. So once again, the Master Grade Gym 2.0 and the Gym Sniper 2 frames are one of the best Master Grade frames out there, if you ask me. So anything that uses those frames cannot go wrong, and their stability and quality are top notch. Alright, so let's do some comparisons. Now, number one, I'm pretty sure at this point, I don't think I need to mention the color. Obviously, the color is different. So let's start from head to bottom. So the head, looking at the head, let's see. Now the head, the Gym Dominance has the antenna on its right side, while the other one has its on the left side. And obviously, they have different antennas going on here. This is a very basic looking antenna, while this one has a much more Pat Labor Ingramish style design. And as I mentioned, that white tip you see in the end is supposed to be a sticker, but I decided to color it using a Gundam white marker. So the head design and build should be the same, because they both share the same design as the Gym Sniper 2. So you are able to pull down their visors if you want, extra scopes if you want to do so. And pushing them down reveals a few more stickers on the top of the head right over here. So that's that. And these extra green bits you see on the scope part is actually stickers on the left and right. And on the chest here, this green section right over here is a sticker, and this part is the small one with the green and black is also a sticker. Sorry for the dusty part, like I do sand a lot of these nub marks, and sometimes some nub marks don't sand off that easily. So you might see a little bit of a plastic dust on the kits. Ever since I changed my camera, it's now showing everything. Alright, so now let's get the chest section here. Now the chest is obviously different. So here is the original Master Grade Gym Dominance chest, while this one actually has a much more different design going on here, which I would assume is pretty much the same design as the previous Stormbringer, if you ask me. Now, the Master Grade Gym Dominance, this one actually exists in the Gundam universe we know, so which is why we are able to open the cockpit as well. we are able to open the cockpit. This one does not. You basically, after you build the inner frame for the main chest, you pretty much cover up with the front part of the armor. Hence, you cannot open the chest cockpit as well. So either way, we have a different chest armor, and then looking at the front skirt armor, obviously we have a different design going on here. A much more simple, much more complex edge design with the orange part going on here. Now, before we go, and for the legs, I'm pretty sure you can pretty much tell the difference. Now, the side thrusters, I believe, are pretty much identical as far as I can tell, only different color scheme, blue, green. And then when it comes to the legs, the overall legs, the size or everything should be the same. The only difference is the front part, which we use the much more Gym Sniper. The Master Grade Gym Dominance uses the more Gym Sniper 2 or customish, more knee armor design, while this one actually has its own design, which I assume should be the same as the previous Stormbringer. And other than that, that should be the same. Now, one of the big downsides here, especially if you ask me, compared to the Gym Dominance, is some range of movement. Now, as I mentioned, they have the same articulation. However, it's because not the quality, it's just the overall design of the mobile suit that kind of hinders the articulation. So number one, if you look at the waist section right over here, you can see there's nothing here. It's pretty much your typical Federation mobile suit style waist section. This one here, we have this part on the top, which does kind of collide with the front part as well. So which was why I believe it's because of this. Even though, let's say, the cockpit could open, it would be because of this part. You would have a big trouble having opening up, because it actually perfectly blocks the cockpit opening, movement if this were to move. But once again, other than that, that should be the same. The shoulder armor are also the same as the previous Gym Dominance, and we still have the same ab crunch going on here. Again, go to the side as well. The arms and leg are pretty much the same, so I don't think I need to show you guys that. Now the backpack. Here we have the backpack. Mostly it's the backpack that I have issue with. Not that it's loose or anything, it's just the part that it hinders. So the backpack, as you can see, the original Gym Dominance has a very simple looking backpack. I think it should be kind of similar to the Gym Sniper Custom, and because it's so simple, you have no problem. There's nothing like blocking when you're trying to rotate the arm 360 like this. Of course, you do need to be careful of this, but this part here just need to be careful. But as long as you are aware, there should be no problems like doing that. Now, if you look at this backpack, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So number one, the gas canisters, or the fuel canisters. So these are connected with the polycap ball joints. They do, depending on how they go or age, I would assume they would, maintain their place, or sometimes they will just droop down time to time. But you can move them freely if you want to do so. And here we have the beam saber hilts going on here. You can just plug them in and plug them out. Nothing too special. Now, as you can see, it's a much more wider backpack compared to the original Gym Dominance. Hence, let's say if I want to rotate the arm, you see that it's actually colliding with the backpack directly. So I have to I have to pull this around and then move 360. But with this, you're gonna have some trouble posing certain ways, so keep that in mind. So at least the shoulder joints are not too stiff. They're actually the right joint strength enough, so you can move them forward and backward a lot. So you should have no problem kind of avoiding that backpack. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. I should mention, because other than that, the only parts I did not mention would be the stickers. We have most of the stickers goes onto either the head or the main body, and there should be one that yeah, most of those are for the main body and the head. It may look like a lot of green stickers, but when you actually get to know them, it's not that bad. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, if you built the Master Grade Gym Dominance, you should pretty much expect what to get from this kit. But of course, with a different chest design, waist design, and a backpack design. If you ask me, the only downside of this kit would be the backpack, because the backpack actually does hinder the movement of the shoulders. And I did forget to mention, the shoulders are not exactly the same design as the Gym Dominance, but it has a extra design going on here. So it's not 100% the same, but it's still the same basis. So yeah, if you're definitely a gym lover like me, definitely this one is worth it. And or if you don't like the gym design, you can always go with the Stormbringer design, which actually has a Gundam head and has an extra cannon on the back. But keep in mind, if you decide to go with the cannon, there's no place to actually put the beam saber hilts. So those beam saber hilts will become a leftover piece. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, thanks for watching the review. This was the review of the Master Grade. Yeah, sorry about that. This is the review of the Premium Bandai or the Premium Bandai or P-Bandai exclusive Master Grade Gundam Stormbringer at full armor / Gym Turbulence. As I mentioned, I went with the Gym Turbulence, but if you go with the Gundam version, there shouldn't be too much of a difference other than the head, shoulders, and backpack. Other than that, the articulation is exactly the same as the previous two, so you shouldn't, if you built those and if you like those, you shouldn't have a big problem with this kit as well. Anyway, until then, see you guys next time!